So yesterday we were discussing about Python features, right? So first 3 points we discussed. So simple and easy to learn and high level, why we call it as general purpose programming, and what is freeware and what is open source. Correct? So any questions in that? Is that clear? Yes, is that clear for both of you? Navya and Srinath? Yes, good. Fine. So next thing is Python is platform independent, platform independent and portable. So any idea what is platform independent? Anyone? Srinath and Navya?
No, sir, I don't know. I don't know, sir, what is platform.
No idea. Okay. So see, platform independent means platform means here in this case it is operating system. Okay. So either Windows or Linux or Mac or any other IBM platform, any other platform. Okay. So Python is platform independent. Platform independent. So that means the code which you have written on Windows machine, same code directly we can run on Linux. Same thing directly we can run on any other operating system. Okay, so that is what we call it as platform independent. So till now, if your company you are using Windows operating system, and next you want to move it to Linux operating system, Linux platform. So in that case, we no need to take care anything actually. So directly we can move from one platform to another platform without doing any changes. So if you take C programming language, right, it is completely platform dependent. So now if you are running your code on Windows, then if you want to move it to Linux, it is not straightforward, because for example on Windows Linux size of integer is some 2 bytes, whereas on Linux size of integer is some 4 bytes. So that kind of challenges will be there. So but Python is platform independent. So if you code on one platform directly, you can run the same code. So you can run the same file, same project, or on any other platform also. So that is what we call it as platform independent. And also we are calling it as portable. Portable means moving from one place to another place. So as Python is platform independent, so that it is because of it is platform independent, it is portable in nature. Portable means we can move from one platform to another platform. So one platform in the sense either Windows to Linux, Linux to Mac, Mac to any other IBM operating system, like that. Okay. So this is what platform independent nature. And the very important point is Python is dynamically typed and interpreted programming language. So fifth and sixth points are very important. So what is dynamically typed? Okay. So one second. Okay, so this is the example yesterday you were saying, right? So you are comparing Python code versus C programming code, right? So dynamically typed means if you see the C programming language, what is the syntax here? So the type of variable, as a programmer, we need to define the type of a variable, type of this variable. So if you are giving integer data, then we need to make this variable as integer. If you are passing some float data, then we need to make this variable as float. The same way character or string, like that, right? So this is what we call it as statically typed programming languages. Statically typed programming languages. So we need to convey to the C compiler saying that what kind of variable you are passing. And whereas Python is dynamically typed programming language. So what does it mean? So when I'm saying a equal to 10 here, so this itself is a program. Yesterday we talked, right? So here, when you if you compare now with against C programming and Python program, here we are not conveying what kind of variable we are giving. Automatically Python will compute and this variable will be treated as integer. And now this variable will be treated as string. Let me show you example. So this is Python interpreter. Don't worry about it now. So anyway, we are going to see the installation and all, right? So now I'll assign a as 10. So I'm not telling anything to Python virtual machine. What kind of variable I am passing, correct? What kind of variable it is? We are not defining it. Now, if you ask what is the type of this variable, so we have a function called type, right? Type of a. If you see, it is integer. So Python will compute. So based on the user input, Python will compute and it will be treated as integer. Now same a, if I modify it, I modified it to float, right? Now if you ask what is the type of a, it is float. Now same thing if I take string, right? So now it will be treated as string str. So this is what we call it as dynamically typed. So Python virtual machine is doing some extra job, right? So here we are not defining this variable as integer or float. We are not conveying, right? So who is doing it? Python virtual machine is doing it. So that's why yesterday we were saying Python is high level programming language, not machine friendly, but it is programmer friendly. So this is what we mean by dynamically typed. So based on the type, the variable will be treated. The compute Python virtual machine will compute the type and it will be decided. It will be decided. Now see, I'll take a is equals to 10 and b equal to some 20. Now a, what is the type of a here? Now the type of a is integer. Now what I'll do is a equal to a plus b plus some 10.5. Now what will be the value of a? Some 40.5. Now what will be the type of a? Initially it is integer type and now it is float type. So this is what we call it as dynamically typed programming languages. So whereas the C programming is, this is statically typed programming languages. Got it? Next. So the next point is these 5 and 6 points are very important. So if you don't know these two means you don't know anything about Python. Okay. So this is what about dynamically typed. Next is interpreted programming language. So what do you mean by interpreted programming languages? Any idea? Both of you, Navya and Srinath? Compilation based, interpreted based.
No, sir.
Yes, you are saying, you are telling something.
No, sir, I don't know. That's what I'm
Okay. So when we call it as compilation based, so let's take same example like this C programming language is compilation based. So compilation based means what and all we do is first we will write the program. First step is writing the program. Second step is compile the program. Third step is run the program. So this is what we write. After that, we will compile this program. So compilation means what it will do is it will check for errors. It will compilation stage check for errors. If there is no errors, then it will generate executable file .exe file. It will generate. Okay, so compilation is not only checking for errors, actually there are some other intermediate steps also will be there, but main thing is it will check for errors and it will generate executable file. So that executable file we are going to run. So this is what a compilation based programming languages, this is what we do. Whereas interpreted programming language means, so only two steps, we will write the program and we will run the program. There is nothing called compilation. So how it will execute? So it will execute line by line. So interpreted programming language means it will execute line after line. So first, when we start running this program, first it will execute first line, next it will execute second line. If there is no errors in second line, then only it will go to third line. If there is any errors in third line, it will stop. If there is no errors in third line, it will go to fourth line and so on. So if we have 1 crore lines of code also, same way it will execute line after line after line. So if there is any error, immediately Python will come out of, it will exit it. It will crash, program will crash. Okay, so this is what we call it as interpreted programming language. Compilation based, compilation means So first we'll write the program, next we'll compile this program together. If there is any errors, this .exe executable file will not be generated. If there is any errors, then only, so if there is no error, then only this executable file will be generated. But Python is interpreted based. So it will execute line by line, line after line, first line, second line, third line, fourth line, and so on. Got it? So this is what dynamically typed and interpreted programming language. So these 2 points are very, very important if you are learning Python. And it is object oriented programming language. So actually it is not only object oriented programming. So as we discussed yesterday or day before yesterday, it is functional programming, object oriented programming, scripting purpose we can use, and there was another programming we call some modular programming. So Python supports that also, but actually now no one is using it, at least very few maybe, but we no need to worry about it, right? So object oriented programming, functional programming, and scripting purpose also we can use it, right? Next thing is Python is having huge library support. So what is the meaning of libraries? So because this is free and open source, right? So as it is open source, even the source code also available. So if you want to contribute something, you can contribute it. There is no owner to this Python. So Python is what we call it as, it's a community driven programming language. Python is community driven. That means there is no owner, there is no such company or anything. So there is some organization is there, python.org. They'll be organizing, they'll be maintaining this Python, and anyone can contribute it. So as it is community driven, it is growing very, very fast because so many lakhs of people are working on this Python, and so many people are contributing to this. So what is the advantage we will get? So there, because it is community driven, there are so many libraries are available. So library means, so most of the things already present, most of the code is already present. It's just that if you use that library, right? So no need to write your code. Say for example, say this is, say if you want to know the type of a variable, we have a function called type. So for this, you no need to write a program. You no need to write a program. What is the type of this variable? And say if you have a string, something like this, some string is, let's take some Python and s2 equals to, so what we are learning version 3. So if you want to add, if you want to concatenate two strings, right? So in other programming languages, you need to write a very big logic, right? But whereas in Python, simply say s1 plus f2, s2. So it will concatenate like this. And like this there are like just like type, right? There are so many libraries are there where some of the code already present. You no need to write for each and everything, you need no need to write your own code, because there are so many libraries are already present. So what is the advantage of library? Say for example, we have some library called time, date and time library. Okay, so how just import that date time module and use it, right? So date time dot date, no need to worry about these things. Okay, we'll see again. So if you use it, this is how it will print. So date, year, month, and time, 2, 8, 26, and 57 seconds. Second date, seventh month, year, right? Like this it will give you. So for you no need to write any separate program for this. Like this there are several modules are there, several libraries are there, where just you can directly use it. So what is the advantage you will get? So you can save so much of time, you can save so much of time here. So that's why people are preferring Python. So if you start any project in Python, the development time will be very, very fast when we compare to other programming languages. So whereas other programming languages, what will happen, you need to write your own code. But Python is having huge library support. So most of the code is already available. So based on your function, based on your requirement, you can use those libraries. It's just that you need to know what and all libraries are present in Python. Okay, so even if you don't know also, if you google it, you will get it. Okay, so that is what is meant by huge library support. So huge library support. So this will make us our development very fast, right? And next is last 10th point is it supports GUI programming also. GUI programming in the sense, so graphical user interface. So it supports object oriented, functional, uh, and what we call scripting purpose, and also website development also we can use, right? Python. And the ninth point is extensible and integrated. So what do you mean by extensible and integrated? Okay, so now extensible means, say, for example, you have a project in your company, you have a product here, okay, so which is some legacy product, it was developed some 20-30 years back, and you are maintaining it. And now, so because say this is having this product you developed in some programming language, maybe take C programming, okay. So now, so as this complete product is developed in C programming language, now if you want to add some new features to this product, okay, you want to add some new features to this product, okay. So what will happen? So we need to write our code in C programming language only, but extensible means the existing project, this product is developed in C, but if you want to add some new features, because you are getting some so many advantages in Python, right? So to this C project, you can write a Python code. You can write a Python code. New features we can develop in Python, and we can integrate these two things. This is what we call it as extensible. Extensible. So some of the features you can add Python code, you can add it to any programming language. So either it is C, C++, Java, .NET, any programming language, right? So this is what we call it as extensibility. Extensibility. So the same product we can extend with, you can add some of the features, or you can add some code in Python. So Python is very friendly programming language. So it can work with any other programming language also. Say for example, you have C and Java. We may not use both things together, but Python is very friendly. So you can you can write, you can add, it can work with C, C++, Java, .NET, or take any other programming also. So this is what we call it as extensible. Extensible. And actually integrated. So we are saying extensible and integrated, right? Actually both kind of similar. Say for example, you have a legacy product, some old product, it is this, and you have some new product, something like this, right? So integrate means, so if you want to merge these two products into a single, right? So like this, so maybe this is developed in C programming and this product is developed in Python. You can easily integrate both the things together, because Python is friendly programming language, it can work with any other programming languages also. Got it? So these are the features of Python. These are the features of Python. Everyone understood? Both of you? Any questions here? Yes, Navya and Srinath. Okay, good. Navya, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes or no?
yes.
No, okay. Looks like you're talking, but you're not audible. Fine. So these are the features. Next, we can talk about. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Navya. Limitations of Python. Maybe note it down. So performance and speed. So because Python is getting used everywhere and it is becoming so popular, everyone will think that Python, if you use Python, the performance of our product will increase, the speed of execution will increase, but actually not. The performance is low if you compare with any other programming languages. Speed of execution also very low when we compare with any other programming language. So why performance and speed is slow? Any idea? Can you tell me based on our conversation till now, what and all we discussed? Why performance is less if we go with Python? because it is interpreted programming language, right? So it has to execute line by line. If you have some 1 crore lines of code also, it will execute one line after another level. First line, second line, third line, and goes on. So that's where the performance and speed of execution is very, very slow. Performance is less when we compare with other programming languages. But nowadays we have powerful processors and powerful RAM, right? So the RAM size are getting increased like anything. So now with powerful processors and increasing in the RAM size, right? So this is not a that much disadvantage. But of course, when we compare with other programming languages, so performance wise and speed, performance of performance is low and speed of execution also will be less. It is slow. And if you see third application, mobile applications. So Python is used everywhere. Python can be used everywhere, but we can't. It's not that we can't use mobile applications. We can definitely develop mobile applications, but there is no much library support available for mobile applications. So that's why we people don't prefer Python. So if you want to develop any mobile application, what you have to do, because library support is not there, you have to write your own code. Why we go for Python? Because we can, if we go with Python, we can increase the speed of development. But in this case, there is not much library support is not available. So that's why, so this is a disadvantage, but it is a disadvantage only today. Maybe if tomorrow, if there is any libraries are available, then definitely people will start implementing mobile applications in Python. But as of now, no, actually very, very less, very few applications are there which were developed in Python. And if we write our Python code, we need more testing, because of, again, because of its interpreted in nature. So because it will execute line after line only, right? So sometimes if you have a error in somewhere in the middle of our code, so unless until it hit that line, we will not be knowing that there is an error. But whereas compilation based means, so if there is any syntax error also, we can know upfront, right? So because of that, we need to test more. And also memory consumption also very, very, very high compared to other programming languages. So about memory consumption, this memory management and all, we will talk in one of the session, maybe somewhere in the middle. Okay. And the last is backward compatibility. So backward compatibility, why, what is this backward compatibility? Maybe I'll talk about it in the next session. So maybe I'll stop here today. Next day class will be on Monday morning 7 a.m. Okay. If you have
Sir,
any questions, you can ask. Yes,
one one doubt, sir.
yes,
Regarding
please.
question, backward compatibility is high in Python or low in Python, sir?
Okay, so let me talk now itself. So actually, some of the people are going to join from Monday. I thought of explaining there. So let me explain now itself. So now, backward compatibility in the sense. So which version of Python now it is running? We are using Python version 3.
Three.
But yeah, so backward compatibility in software industry, in any programming language means, so if you have written a code, if you have written our Python program in Python version 3, the same program will not run in Python 2. The same program will not work in Python 1. Okay, so this is what we call it as backward compatibility. So this is Python 2 version 2. This is same. This is Python version 2. This is Python version 3, right? So if you have our code in Python version 3, it will not, it may not run on Python 2, because Python will not support backward compatibility. So let's take other example. Let's take some Java programming language. Okay. So Java 1 version came somewhere in the year, somewhere in 90s. Okay. So first version is Java 1, right? And it is a commercial, right? So we are buying it. So if we can't, it is not free. Okay. So next, maybe after some time, we got Java version 2. So Java supports backward compatibility. That means if your code is there on Java 2, the same code can run on Java 1 also. It's just that extending. So they are adding new features to Java 1 and they are making it as Java 2. And they are adding new features to Java 2 and they are making it as Java 3, something like this, right? So now I don't know what is the version of Java it is, but so it will become something like this. So whenever a new version comes, they will test all previous versions also, because Java supports backward compatibility. So even though, so whether Java came somewhere in the 1990s, right? So even though now we are not using, or we may not need Java 1 features, maybe it is not required for current market trends, but even though we support it, Java supports it, whether we are using or not, irrespective of that, it supports backward compatibility. Now what will happen? So now now new version is coming. So what they need to do, even though if they are adding some new if they are adding some new features again, right? So now what they have to do, they add the new features and again they have to test with all previous versions, they have to test with all previous versions also, right? So what we call it as backward compatibility. So the code which we are whatever we are running on Java 10, right? The same code will run on Java 1 also, because it is having backward compatibility. But Python does not support backward compatibility, because say what they say is, so this is Python 1. What happened? So this is I'm not able to draw it. This is Python 1, this is Python 2, and this is Python 3. Python will not support backward compatibility. What they say is actually it is a completely new programming language. So why they want to do it? Say for example, so I heard somewhere this example. Say if you have a house in your native place, your ancestor's house, okay, so which was built some 20 years back or some 50 years back, okay. Now if you want to extend your house, so can we do that? So some your 100 years old house you have, so you can can you make the first floor on that? It is not possible, right? Because of so many things. Like it may not the construction, the way the infrastructure may not be needed or may not be suitable for current market trends. That means current trend. So the olden days architecture and now what we are doing right now, how what we are building, both are different. You can't extend it, correct? Because whatever the architecture, old architecture is there, that is old, and you can't add any new features, you can't add any new floor to that, correct? Because nowadays the way we construct is different, the way we constructed in olden days are different, right? So if you want to construct on the same thing, right, is it possible? It may not be possible. So that's why Python will not support backward compatibility, right? So if you are using Python, most of the companies are still using Python 2, and they need to migrate it to Python 3, because Python will not support backward compatibility and they won't support Python 3 further also. Got it? So Python 3 is altogether a new programming language, not compared to previous version. It may run, it may not run. Okay, so this is what we call it as backward compatibility. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So we'll meet on Monday 7 a.m. Okay. So if no more questions, that's all for today.